Hey everyone, KV here. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, the topic is finding the time. So hopefully at the end, you'll get some tips to organizing your week that will help make coaching more than one teacher, more manageable. So familiar with the coaching cycle, right? So in a nutshell, it's you observe the teacher, you plan for your debrief, you have your conversation, and then you follow up with your teacher and repeat the loop again, or you move on to a new cycle. So it's common that when you see something chunk like this, that you immediately go to, okay, Monday I'm doing this, Tuesday I'm doing this, Thursday I'm doing this step. So it ends up looking something like this in reality. So say I'm coaching 6 teachers, I plan all my observations on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm crying in my office all day because I'm trying to prep the script. And let's be real, the first time you're learning it, it takes a good minute. And then on Tuesday, I'm debriefing with all my teachers. So I'm having 6 separate conversations. And then on Thursday, I'm running around, I'm following up, being in these teachers' classrooms. And then on Friday, I'm so exhausted. I'm crying even more because I'm trying to get everything else done that I wasn't able to do because I spent my whole day on each of these pieces. Don't do this. This is not sustainable. It's an option, it can be done, but long term, this is not sustainable. So, a better way would be for your calendar to look something like this. So, you can see it's staggered. So really, my heavy day is going to be Thursday, right? So, and I can already, like, I feel better because I see all these blank spaces on my calendar. So, day one, I only have 2 teachers that I'm observing. So, maybe that's 30 minutes of my day. And then the rest of my day, I have other, time to do other things. On Tuesday, I'm debriefing the original 2, but I'm picking up 2. So, I'm seeing 4 teachers. So, maybe that's 2 hours out of my day. Okay. So like I said, at most my Thursday is my busiest day. And by Friday, I was able to get all 6 teachers. So this is a much better option, right? And then the next week I start all over. So compared to one, I like this calendar better. But as you continue to do these things, it does get exhausting because this implies that every week I'm starting a whole new coaching cycle. Like on Monday for teacher one, I'm going back in and I'm looking for something completely new to work with this teacher on. Okay. So it becomes a lot, right? The mental burden is a lot. So to combat that, this is an even better way. So here's a couple things I wanted to point out. So you can see it's the same thing. Week one, I've staggered my teachers. But look, life happens. Like we can't get to everyone. Look at week 6. So our teacher 6. On Friday, it's the first time I've seen her. That's cool. No problem. But at least I've touched base. I've seen her classroom this week. Okay. I didn't forget about her. I didn't leave her off. But I'm gonna pick back up with her week 2. Okay, so I'll finish her cycle second week. But here's where the flexibility really comes in, and look at all this empty space, right? So now I feel really great because I literally have nothing on my calendar. 1 on Thursday, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Tuesday, and so forth. So it's these follow-ups that are a continuation of whatever I did with my teacher the week before. So I'm not starting a whole new coaching cycle. I'm just making sure I check in and give feedback and I have a short conversation based on whatever we did before. So we call this real-time coaching because I'm doing it in the moment. I'm not going to have these whole big conversations after the fact. So for example, say week, I did my initial observation and my actions up was 9. So I identified that my teacher needs to engage all students to make sure all students participate. Okay. So their action step for week 1, we've identified, we had our conversation, they're cold calling and recording. Okay. So my follow-up, that's what I'm looking for. Is she recording who's answering questions, and if there's somebody who is not, is she cold calling? So week 2, I'm not moving on. I want to make sure that she just didn't do that because I was in the room. So week 2, I'm going to go back into our classroom and I'm going to look for the same thing, not just cold calling, but cold calling and recording who's participating. Okay. So, making sure she really, really got what our conversation was about. So by end of week 2, I'm confident that she's recording and cold calling. So then week 3, I'm going to pick up these next 2, right? I'm going to add a little bit more detail. So already the mental load is a lot lower because I'm not starting anything new. I'm on week 3 and I'm just adding more detail to what we've already worked on. So even on the teacher side, it's a lesser workload because you're not adding something new to my plate. It's the same concept, engaging all students, but it's just adding this little bitty chunk, this bite-sized piece to make it better. So then week 4 comes around and I'm like, okay, so we have all these different strategies. Let's see if you can mix it up. And then, so that's all I'm looking for. So then week 5 comes around and I have some options. So maybe I want to check back in one more time and really make sure she has these previous steps. Or maybe I'm moving on to the last bullet point, provide support. Or maybe I'm skipping number 5 or the provide support. Maybe I'm skipping it altogether because this particular teacher doesn't have to do that piece. Like it's not a necessity. It's a nice know type thing. So then I can move on and restart a whole new cycle. So for 4, maybe 5 weeks, I've lived within this action step of engage all students. So you can see how like the workload is a lot less because now I'm updating my conversations. I'm having the same conversation over and over and over to really build on that habit. So my notes, I'm just documenting the little steps. So in terms of your tracker, it becomes in progress, in progress, in progress. So the hope is by the time you get to week 5, it's completed and you're ready to move on to the next step. So to recap, the goal is to master an action step in order to build good teaching habits, not to get through the scope and sequence as fast as possible. Okay, it's just like curriculum. You want them to learn the content, not just get through the content. And so you do this by staggering your calendar to give you time to, debrief and plan and all that good stuff. Staying within a specific action item for more than a week, but just adding detail, right, if they need to. And then only moving on when you feel confident that they've mastered that step. That's all I got for you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye.